Okay. Hello. My name's Nick Murray. I'm an undergraduate psychology and philosophy student, and I'd like to present something that I wrote an essay about and posted it on my blog recently, just last month. And I was thinking about this. It's about theory of mind and developmental psychology. So, in first year psychology, we were taught about theory of mind, and basically the motivation for writing this was that we were taught something about theory of mind that I think was at least theoretically short-sighted. So, I'd like to present what the problem was or what the short-sighted nature of the teaching was, which will become clearer as we go on, and what I think might be an important aspect to think of for theory of mind when studying developmental psychology. So the title of the essay and also of this video is Why It's Good to Discipline Children for Lying, Speculations on Theory of Mind. There we go. Okay, so theory of mind, roughly, is the ability to attribute mental states to ourselves and others. As I've noted here, it develops around 4 to 6 years of age in children. The example I have here, so imagine that you and a friend are looking at a red car or any given object. So in your immediate perceptual experience, you see the red car. To have theory of mind, you also know that your friend sees the red car. Um, in young children, for example, they often might look at the red car and know that they see the red car, but not be able to conceptualize that their friend or parent sees the red car. Or imagine that you're playing hide and seek with a small child. If you're playing it, oftentimes the children will go and just cover their eyes or go somewhere where they can't see you, but you can, of course, see them, but they don't understand that they haven't hidden from you. All they know is that they can't see you, and they think that that's the whole truth of the matter. They don't realize that you have perceptual experiences that are different from their own. Okay, so what does lying have to do with this? So Dr. Kang Lee is a researcher at the University of Toronto, and he's noted that in children around age 2, they begin to tell white lies. So this is the beginning of the development of theory of mind, as far as Dr. Lee has noted. So in order to lie, he says, a child must have developed some sort of theory of mind. Now, this is based on the National Geographic video that was shown in my first year psychology class, titled Why Science Says It's Good for Kids to Lie. And the error that I think the professor made in presenting this was that they said, well, lying is a healthy development in children, so why is it taboo? There mustn't be a reason why it's taboo other than that we don't like it. Now, um, not paying attention really to the fact that this is fallacious reasoning. To begin with, I'd like to think about, well, what is it? Why is it that children? Why do we have the social taboo around lying? Now, we have the social taboo. I'll mention why in a second, but first I'll explain what it is to lie and why that involves theory of mind. So, let's say that I eat your cookie. In order to lie to you that I've eaten your cookie, I have to know that I ate your cookie, and I also have to know that you do not know that I ate your cookie. So this is like playing hide and seek with the child. In order to successfully hide from the adult, I have to know that I'm hidden and that I can't see you per se. But I also have to know that you can't see me, and that's how you play hide and seek. And this is similar to lying. It's hide and seek is basically a kind of lie about where you are, about your location. So when it comes to eating the cookie, it's a lie in that I know I ate the cookie, I know you do not know I ate the cookie. In order to know that you know differently than I do about this matter of fact, about my eating of the cookie, I have to know that you have perceptual and cognitive or just belief states in general that are different from my own. Okay, so why do we discipline children for telling lies? This was really the question I think the professor was getting at. Now, I think that it's due to reciprocity. So I'm honest to you because I don't want you to be dishonest to me. So I don't want, I have the hope that if I act honestly, you won't act dishonestly to me. And it's just my assumption that this is why parents discipline children for lying. It's certainly why my own parents said to be honest. But the question I have is there something about this reciprocal reasoning? So when the child comes to understand the reasoning that the parent has for why you shouldn't lie, does this tell us something about theory of mind? So I'm asking basically, the child can lie, but is there something about learning why you shouldn't lie that tells us something further about theory of mind? I think there is. So these are just, I'm going to call these different stages the first person, second person, and third person stages. So basically I'm going to propose 3 developmental stages in theory of mind, um, and they all center around this idea of first person, second person, and third person point of view. So like it says in this diagram, first person point of view involves using I and we to tell a story. Second person uses you and your, and third person uses he, she, or it. Okay, so this is Johnny. Imagine that Johnny has eaten a cookie. So this is the first person point of view. So all Johnny can tell a story in terms of is really himself. So he says, I know that I ate a cookie. Well, this is the same thing like in hide and seek. So imagine Johnny was trying to tell a lie to somebody that he didn't eat their cookie. Well, he couldn't, because all he can conceptualize is that he ate the cookie. He can't conceptualize that the other person has any understanding that's different from his own, other than I ate the cookie. So Johnny can only tell a story about eating the cookie from his first person perspective. In this stage, this is where you can't lie, because obviously you don't have any knowledge of what other people believe. You don't know that other people believe differently than you. So the lying stage, and this is what I think that Dr. Lee was really getting at. Apologies here for the layout. So this is the second person stage, or the second person point of view. So this is Johnny. The girl here is named Susie. Johnny eats Susie's cookie, and Johnny lies to Susie and says, I did not eat your cookie. So Johnny here knows, like he says, you do not know that I ate a cookie. So in the second person stage, Johnny knows that he ate a cookie, like he does in the first person point of view. But in the second person point of view, he's able to say, one, I know that I ate a cookie, but also you do not know that I ate a cookie. So recall that that using you is demonstrates the second person point of view. So Susie doesn't know that Johnny ate the cookie. Johnny's able to lie to Susie and knows that Susie does not know, does not understand that Johnny ate her cookie, or at least doesn't know it, isn't aware of it. So in this sense, in the sense that Dr. Lee uses it, Johnny has developed some theory of mind. Okay, so this is obviously healthy development in children. All children, for the most part, learn to lie. And this was kind of the professor's argument that the child coming to learn how to lie is evidence of healthy development. And so then they ask the question, why is it that we have a taboo around lying if it's a healthy developmental stage? I'm not here to answer the why question, because clearly this is like an is-ought distinction. I don't think you could derive from healthy development what you ought to do. I think that's the obvious fallacy. But regardless of that, my title is mainly ironic in reference to this fallacy, because I'm not actually making an argument for why you should discipline your children for lying. I'm just making an argument for why disciplining your child, or why your child understanding why they're being disciplined, is evidence for development of theory of mind. Whether you take that as evidence for why you should discipline your child is up to you. But the title is ironic in response to what I think the title of the National Geographic video. That's where I think that makes the fallacy. and also where the professor made the fallacy. Okay, so the third stage is what I'll call the third person stage, or the reciprocity stage. So the critical difference here is that Johnny is able to lie, but Johnny also comes to know that other people can lie to him. And so in doing this, this is when he can actually understand the reciprocal reasoning that his parents give to him for why he shouldn't lie. Because in order to develop a successful reciprocal relationship, you actually need to know that the other person is capable of doing the same thing as you. Otherwise, it's not reciprocal. So, in this case, the roles are reversed. Susie is lying to Johnny. Susie says, "You do not know that I ate your cookie." It's supposed to say ate your cookie. Sorry, but so Susie's lying to Johnny. Susie ate Johnny's cookie. So in this case, Susie knows, she can say from the first person perspective, "I know that I ate Johnny's cookie." And she can also say from the second person perspective, "You, Johnny, do not know that I ate your cookie." Okay. But the thing is imagine that Johnny can imagine this case happening. He can imagine that Susie can lie to him in the same way that he can lie to Susie. So Johnny has to be able to imagine this case where he lies to Susie, and also this case where Susie lies to him, in order for it to be reciprocal, because this is where he comes to understand that he can lie to Susie, Susie can lie to him. If he doesn't want Susie to lie to him, he won't lie to Susie, and he hopes that she returns the favor. But he can only hope that she can return the favor if she could lie in the first place. Okay, so recall that third person point of view uses he, she, or it. So in this case, Johnny is able to tell a story about himself, about himself and Susie, using he and she. So he could tell a story about himself from the third person point of view. So imagine that I'm Johnny, and I'm talking about something that happened to me in the past, this lying. I could refer to myself as he and Susie as she, and that's the third person. So I can abstract out myself as a character and see how both characters are capable of the same thing. But I think that's actually the completed development of theory of mind. So theory of mind is knowing, essentially the original conception is knowing that others know differently than you. But I think to complete that story of what theory of mind is, you have to know not only that others know differently, but that others know that you know differently. And that's the third person. So I use lying here as the example because I think it's the clearest point. But just realize that it's almost like it's gone full circle. So it's like, imagine a circle, and Johnny's here. The first half of the circle is completing this circle is like a race to get theory of mind. So he starts here. He gets halfway through the circle and knows that Susie knows differently than he does. But in order to complete the circle or the race to have full theory of mind, he has to know that Susie knows that he knows differently than she does. So this is what I think can be shown by a child understanding the reciprocal relationship. And so I think that's basically the development, and it might be at least some reason for why we discipline children for lying, or at least some reason in support of the social taboo. I don't want to make the same fallacious jump from a positive claim about how people act to a normative one. But I just wanted to present this as a possibility. Now, I'm not saying that the second person or that the third person develops after the second person. I think it necessarily has to develop either at the same time as the second person or after it. Because if you have the third person, you automatically have the second person. But if you have the second person point of view, you don't have the third person. So All I'm claiming here is that these two things are actually logically distinct. And so maybe this will inspire some further theory of mind research. I don't know. I might go on to do some of it of my own if I'm fortunate enough. But this is just something to point out that these two stages are not, at least they're not logically equivalent. So it could be that in children the reciprocity or third person stage, whatever you want to call it, develops after. It could in some children develop after or at the same time. I don't know. But I just wanted to posit the existence of these stages and hopefully clarify a little bit of information around theory of mind. So here are my references. Of course, Dr. Lee's original video. This is my website. My website is nicholasmurraywriting.com. I write about a lot more there. I write about psychology, philosophy, theology. I used to write about politics, but I don't really want to write about it anymore because it's just boring. But also some links to some stuff on theory of mind, and also the link for the image for point of view. So that's all I have to say. I appreciate if you've taken the time to watch my video. I will link my original essay in the description, and I hope you have a good night. Thanks. Or a good day, whatever time it is, wherever you are. See ya.